My name is Victor Tiffany. I'm the co-founder of Revolt Against Plutocracy, the organization that was behind the Bernie or Bust movement. It seems Keith Olbermann has a new gig with GQ magazine. It's The Closer with Keith Olbermann, an online platform. His first monologue was entitled 176 Reasons Why Donald Trump Should Not Be President. This is a companion piece. Let's call it 72 Reasons Why Hillary Clinton Should Not Be the Next President. First of all, Hillary Clinton is a hypocrite on drug legalization or keeping marijuana illegal, and then claiming Black Lives Matter, and Citizens United while taking all these large donations through super PACs. She is a hypocrite, but that's the least of my concerns. She has a Nixonian penchant for secrecy. The public needs to know Hillary's public health information, detailed health information. Her concussion makes this knowledge vital for the public interest. Why did Hillary get taken to Chelsea's apartment after her collapse on 9/11 unless she was concerned about this information getting out to the public? Leaked emails from Colin Powell indicate that she's been too weak to climb stairs on her own for quite some time now. Medical information matters, especially for a candidate whose health appears to be in decline ever since her head injury. After all, she used the concussion as an excuse to not remember several questions during her interview with the FBI. Secretary of State Colin Powell, a Republican who considers Trump to be a national disgrace, wrote that Hillary keeps, quote, tripping into character minefields, end quote, and, quote, everything HRC touches. She kind of screws up with hubris. And how about releasing transcripts to just one of her speeches to a Wall Street bank? She's been looking into it for over 220 days now. This, too, would be helpful information to voters, but we'll never find out unless somebody leaks one of her expensive speeches online. The Democrats have nominated a bigot. Go to HillaryAntisemitism.com if you question that assertion. She is also a subtle and covert racist, from her early statements about super predators needing to be brought to heel to how her campaign responded to Black Lives Matter activists during her events during the primaries. Her 2008 campaign against then-Senator Obama had racist overtones, and the Clintons are not allies of black and brown Americans because of their support for free trade agreements. These things harm people of color more than whites, statistics indicate. Voting for Clinton would be an act of white privilege. 8 years ago, Olbermann lambasted Clinton for saying she was staying in the contest against then-Senator Obama, reminding people that Robert Kennedy was assassinated in California. He said her remarks were unforgivable, and indeed, they were then, and they still are. After the DNC chairperson, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, was fired for her role in tipping the primaries toward Hillary Clinton, as exposed just before the convention by WikiLeaks, she was then hired to serve as honorary chair of Clinton's campaign's 50-state program. That's rewarding a disgraced actor. Hillary Clinton is greedy. After making millions of dollars giving expensive speeches to Wall Street banks and other large corporations with high speaking fees, in 2015 she took over $250,000 from campaign donations from her campaign coffers and kept it for herself. She couldn't liquidate one of her 5 mansions if she had a cash crunch. Recently, it's been reported her campaign has been overcharging working-class donors on a recurring cycle for one-time donation to boost her small donor statistics. Isn't that wire fraud or mail fraud? And where's the FBI in all this? Oh, right. The director's brother, Peter, works for a company, DLA Piper, that performed an independent audit on the Clinton Foundation. The same company ranks number 5 on Hillary's all-time career top donor list. This goes to show crime does pay if your name is Hillary Clinton. If former Secretary of State Colin Powell's recollection is correct, Hillary got away with, if nothing else, lying to the FBI, which is a crime. When she's not prosecuted for what other people would be for, she is above the law. FBI Director Comey noted during his press conference that Clinton is extremely careless with classified information. That alone would disqualify a Republican in the corporate liberal media. But they have a horse in this contest, and it's Hillary Clinton. There's evidence Clinton's made a deal with Trump to ensure she wins this election, a collaboration theory backed by several data points, starting with a conversation Bill Clinton had with Donald Trump last year before he threw his hat in the ring. A Trump surrogate who used to work in the Clinton White House. Trump's continuing to play to his base after securing the nomination, and then campaigning in New Hampshire not once or twice, a blue state with few electoral college votes. Why wouldn't he campaign in New York or California, where if he's going to turn his state red, at least it would be worth his time? Until recently, it seemed every day he provided evidence Trump is trying to alienate more and more voter groups. We may never find out if this is true, but if it is, it would make the Clintons anti-democratic, conniving, election-rigging, self-serving, power-mad shysters. Pay attention in these last 2 months to how Donald Trump behaves. Hillary hasn't told a lie just about her email server, as Amy Schumer would have voters believe. Hillary lies as a matter of course. She once claimed she was under sniper fire in Bosnia when video recordings proved her assertion to be completely false. She claimed she was named after Sir Edmund Hillary, a mountain climber, but he didn't climb Mount Everest until after she was born. Her list of unnecessary and incriminating lies is long. The reason Hillary Clinton is not trusted by a sizable majority of Americans is precisely because she's so frequently dishonest and misleading. Most aggravating among her lies is the assertion, "I'm a progressive." The Clintons ushered neoliberalism into the Democratic Party. When Bernie Sanders complained about establishment economics, he was talking about neoliberal economic order. She's not progressive, she is neoliberal. For a synopsis on neoliberalism, search, find, and read the free 60-page pamphlet called One Party Planet. This is what voters can either accept or reject in November when they vote for or against Hillary. As First Lady, she gave full-throated support to President Clinton's neoliberal agenda, from NAFTA to the crime bill to welfare reform to Wall Street deregulation. The Clintons' agenda is in alignment with mainstream Republicans' agenda, corporate profits above public interest. Clinton is funded by Wall Street bankers, her husband deregulated, leading to the loss of jobs and homes during the Great Recession, and now she wants these people's votes. She's on record recording NAFTA, but in 2008 she falsely claimed she was against it. That's not a flip-flop. That was a lie. During the primaries, she smeared Senator Sanders as a sexist. Analysis of both pre-primary polls and exit polls indicate that the primary outcomes on the Democratic Party side only this year did not come close to what was expected. This is the case in states that have voting machines with no paper trail. Experts believe there was systematic election fraud undertaken by the Clinton-Craddock party machine. While there are various points where the voting results could have been skewed toward Hillary Clinton, 2 major donors to the Clinton Foundation own companies that manufacture voting machines. Clinton did not win the Democratic Party nomination, her party stole it for her. The meme states, "A vote for anyone is a vote for Clinton," because that's how election fraud works. The Democrats have nominated a candidate who told Republican donors she shares their values, and indeed she does. This is coming from the one-time president of the Wellesley College Young Republicans and a self-proclaimed Goldwater girl. Senator Goldwater was the 1964 Republican candidate for president, and he was known at the time as Mr. Conservative, a segregationist. Hillary was opposed to gay marriage right up until recently. Before she was opposed to a wall between the United States and Mexico, she voted for the Secure Fence Act of 2006. And these are just two examples of many flip-flops Hillary has taken over the years. That includes positions on free trade agreements with Colombia, opposition to and for, support for the $15 minimum wage, not attacking Democrats on universal health care, and doing more than that during the primaries. Clinton's neoliberalism is more terrifying than racist nationalism. It's racist internationalism, combines military force deployments with free trade rules imposed on people of color in developing countries. The free trade agreement that she supported 45 times as Secretary of State, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, would violate the Commerce Clause of the Constitution. Congress regulates commerce with other nations. It doesn't prescribe having members of Congress rubber stamp corporate crafted rules and regulations for commerce with other nations. Clinton's recent opposition to the Trans-Pacific Partnership was based on two characteristics of the treaty that were in place back when she was Secretary of State and called it a gold standard of free trade agreements. The TPP would replace democratic self-government with corporate self-government. But that's not why she's against it. She's fine undermining democracy in the United States. The Trans-Pacific Partnership would also assert a series of corporate rights with absolutely no court sanction. It's, in that way, citizens united on crack. And again, Hillary has no problem with that. The TPP's regulations and rights would be enforced by private tribunals that supersede American courts and national sovereignty. But again, Clinton didn't cite that as a reason to oppose the TPP. This agreement would fundamentally transform the United States, just as Obama promised 5 days before he was elected 8 years ago. So radically, it should be treated like a constitutional amendment. For example, when it comes to regulating the behavior of foreign corporations operating in the United States, it would render the 10th Amendment moot. The 10th Amendment allows states to handle what the federal government doesn't regulate. But the TPP would be applied at the federal, state, and local levels. Even if she did honestly change her mind about the TPP, why did Clinton's surrogates prevent language opposing the TPP from being inserted into the party platform? Why did she tell a reporter she wouldn't use her power as president-elect to discourage Democrats in Congress from voting for the TPP? Trump opposes this treaty, so why is Obama pushing it to have it passed during the lame duck session if Hillary really opposes this agreement? Does he expect Governor Johnson to become the next president? Governor Johnson, the Libertarian candidate, is the only one on record at this point supporting the TPP. The Trans-Pacific Partnership is the name of the very first knife Hillary Clinton will use to plunge into the back of her working and middle-class supporters if she's elected. because this is exactly what Wall Street donors will demand of her. As Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton sold hydrofracking around the world. She wanted to send undocumented immigrant children back to their dangerous countries of origin in Central America, including Honduras, where she was instrumental destabilizing as Secretary of State. She has deep ties to the oil and gas industries. She is nearly as much of a threat to climate change as any other candidate when the human race is running out of time to slow, stop, and eventually reverse climate change, to at least prevent coastal cities around the world from being plunged under ocean water, if not threatening our entire species. Hillary supports genetically modified organisms and Monsanto, the producer of these seeds, which is a major donor to the Clinton Foundation. While GMOs themselves have no known health concerns, the herbicide sprayed on the plants has dangerous health consequences. Environmentalists in Iowa called Hillary the bride of Frankenfood for good reason. Clinton has announced she will be appointing longtime Monsanto lobbyist Jerry Crawford as advisor to her super PAC, Ready for Hillary. So much for the supposed dividing line between super PACs and campaigns. She's also prone to making mistakes, not just on the Iraqi war vote, but with her role in mass incarceration, speaking about how the Reagan administration fought the AIDS epidemic, etc., etc. This alone is a good reason why she should not be the next commander-in-chief. She repeated lies about Iraqi weapons of mass destruction leading up to that war, made during her arguments in Congress with conviction. Her State Department supported the coup in Honduras, an act of imperialism that destabilized the country and led to the assassination of activist Berta Cáceres. Unlike the president, she has no regret for the bombing of Libya and the destabilization of that country after Gaddafi was murdered, including the new stronghold for ISIS. The Democrats have nominated a candidate who's covered with the blood of innocent women and children in Iraq, Libya, and Honduras. Hillary quipped and laughed like a psychopath over Gaddafi's horrible death at the hands of an angry mob. This Clinton-promoted attack occurred after Libya had disarmed and engaged in greater cooperation with the West. The message regime change sent the leaders in Iran and North Korea: don't disarm unless you want to be bombed into the dark ages by super predator Hillary Clinton. She supports a no-fly zone over Syria airspace being shared by the Russian military. She supports a military response to cyber attacks from Russia and China. She aligns herself with right-wingers like Sheldon Adelson on Israel. The Democrats have nominated a dino, a Democrat in name only. Hillary Clinton is an uber hawk. Think of her as John McCain in a pantsuit. 8 years ago, she threatened Iran with nuclear retaliation for an attack on Israel, even though Israel is nuclear armed, and a U.S. involvement would lead to a dangerous escalation and nuclear exchanges that could get out of control. She supports more ground troops in the fight against ISIS. The superdelegates chose to nominate someone who speaks as if she intends to provoke the nuclear-armed Russian bear. I lived through the Cold War, and it was terrorism every day. It was far more frightening back then, thinking that any day could be the last day of our lives because of a nuclear exchange with then Soviet Union. Clinton has sought Henry endorsement in addition to John Negroponte, Ronald Reagan's death squad ambassador. Who next? George Bush? She already got George H.W. Bush's endorsement. She going to go after Dick Cheney's endorsement too? She's not for the people. The Clintons and all neoliberal politicians are there to serve the private interests of American transnational corporations. Until 1976, this was understood to be corruption. But the Supreme Court decision, Buckley v. Vallejo, changed and narrowed the meaning of corruption to quid pro quo. Unless you can prove money for something, money for an agreement, money for a position in government, unless you can actually prove with a document showing that, it's not corruption. But until 1976, it was always understood to be corruption. Clinton's neoliberalism has a track record. She pivoted away from a single-payer health care program, promoting that, after receiving millions of dollars in speaking fees to the health care insurance industry. Private prison lobbyists have been raising money for her campaign. Her State Department pushed Haiti to not increase the minimum wage there to 61 cents an hour, and she's opposed the $15 minimum wage until just recently. Why? Because this is what conservatives do. She is an agent, a prospective representative of corporate interests. The Clinton Foundation made money off the Haitian disaster. The foundation served as a means of legally bribing Secretary Clinton through donations. Many major donors were granted direct access to Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State, and worse, something the new DNC chair, Donna Brazile, calls perfectly normal. Perfectly normal. The foundation, the Clinton Foundation, failed to disclose 1,100 foreign donations. Only if she's elected, and not until, will the foundation will continue to accept these donations, prolonging the opportunity for foreign interests to build a moral debt from the Clintons in the political economy of gifts for favors. International actors, states, and corporations funneled money to the Clinton Foundation for special weapons deals or resource deals. For example, under Clinton's leadership, the State Department approved $165 billion worth of commercial arms sales to 20 nations whose governments had donated money to the Clinton Foundation. As a result of $145 million donated to the foundation, the Russian government now owns 20% of the uranium reserves in the United States. Uranium is used to make nuclear weapons, a deal Secretary Clinton approved. As First Lady, she was at the core of Travelgate, a scandal where she insisted on the dismissal of White House travel staff and replacement with Clinton associates from Arkansas. Most of those original staffers were given other jobs, and the Clinton associates were removed. Long before that, Hillary had a cattle future investment that gave her a 9,987% profit in 1 year. In 1978, she invested $1,000 on cattle futures. A year later, she got $100,000 on that investment, despite having no prior knowledge of cattle futures or experience in the complicated and risky world of commodities futures trading. She did, however, receive investment advice from Tyson Foods Legal Counsel, a major food processing company in Arkansas, at the time when her husband was just happened to be State Attorney General and then Governor. She claims she was just lucky. She remains married to Bill Clinton, an accused rapist. Secretary Powell has noted recently in emails that he is, quote, still dicking bimbos at home, end quote. This is the first dude we want in the White House? Really? A major Clinton Foundation donor, Rajiv Fernando, was placed on the International Security Advisory Board, although he had no obvious experience and no previous experience in the field. The Chicago securities trader, who specialized in electronic investing, sat alongside nuclear scientists, former cabinet secretaries, and members of Congress to advise Hillary Clinton on the use of tactical nuclear weapons. He resigned 4 days after an ABC investigation report on his assignment. Finally, Hillary Clinton has the gall to accuse her detractors of not doing their homework. It's her supporters who either don't do the homework about her or don't care how dangerous and reckless her vaunted experience shows her to be. Oberman is right. Donald Trump would be a horrible president, but so would Hillary Clinton. How can two people be so awful? Maybe it's because they came from the same family. Clinton and Donald Trump are distant cousins. To his credit, Oberman did not conclude his diatribe by recommending support for Hillary Clinton. Trump and Clinton are untrustworthy people who should not be president. So, what's a voter to do? Who can be trusted? If you're a conservative and you believe in small government, if you believe that's the best government, including non-interventionism abroad, then help smash the corrupt two-party Wall Street-backed political duopoly by voting for Governor Johnson, former governor of New Mexico. He's the Libertarian candidate. If instead you're concerned about student debt, climate change, peace, and or want to stop the brazen and unprecedented corporate power grab called the Trans-Pacific Partnership, that helps smash the two-party Wall Street-backed neoliberal political duopoly by voting for the Green Party candidate, Jill Stein. There's no reason to worry about Stein or Johnson being a spoiler because they cancel each other out. Johnson, in fact, is taking up more of Trump's support than Stein is from Clinton. Stein has been smeared as anti-science and anti-vax, and she is neither. Her public policy approach to children's health requires long-term studies, science, that are not available yet with regard to wireless instruments. This is common in Europe. She wants to err on the side of caution, which translates to using cables to connect computer devices in public schools and changing how vaccines are tested, sold, and or manufactured. Progressives seek reforms for the public interest, and children's health should come before corporate profits. We're running out of time when it comes to climate change, so wanting a woman in the White House cannot trump the need for a green revolution in the energy sector of the economy. Dr. Stein will have both. There's no way to have that revolution, the rapid transformation from fossil fuels to sustainable energy sources, except through a revolution, a change in the control of government power. We don't have 4 more years to address climate change. The human-caused climate change urgently needs human correction away from fossil fuels. Trump, Clinton, and Johnson all support hydrofracking, an extreme method for extracting natural gas and oil from shale rock. All three, therefore, will help accelerate climate change. In the 2016 election will decide the future of coastal cities around the world, whether they will be underwater or not. And there's only one candidate who offers hope that they will not be underwater by next century, and that is Dr. Jill Stein.